Morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because there's more Helldivers salt to talk about. You know, it is funny. I got so many comments on my initial video talking about Helldivers going to Xbox saying, oh, what do you mean, dude? Nobody on PlayStation's mad about this, when if those people had bothered actually watching the video, they would have seen that there were people mad about it. It's funny. You would think me making the clear distinction within the first minute of the video that I'm talking about fanboys and crazy people online and not normal PlayStation fans would be enough. But I guess people literally just cannot be bothered to watch more than a minute of a video. Either way, though, you guys know the drill by now. Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox, and fanboys are pissed about it. And now I'm here to make money off of their misery caused by the fact that other people get to play video games. But really quickly, hold on one second. I found this meme that came up when I typed in Helldivers 2 Xbox on Twitter. Mom said it's my turn to fight for democracy. Oh, that was probably the worst Master Chief impression ever, but I don't care. God, this meme is great. But honestly, this meme kind of encapsulates how some of these guys are acting. They're acting like they have to give the game to Xbox players and then they're not allowed to play it anymore. Like, you do realize that you still get to play the game, even if it goes to Xbox, right? It's just now you have more people to play it with. I honestly don't know. Whatever. Let's get into some salt, shall we? So these replies are all coming from this tweet by Nixxes. Helldivers, reinforcements are arriving. We're excited to bring Helldivers 2 to Xbox Series X and S hand in hand with our friends at Arrowhead GS. Gear up and embark on your mission to save Super Earth. Report for duty. Now, this post has probably the most bipolar comment section I've ever seen, because I am not exaggerating when I say literally every single reply to this was either "this is the worst thing ever" or "thank you Nixxes, you guys are the goats," and there was literally no in between. And I was really surprised because normally these comments crying about games going to other platforms get ratioed really bad, but a lot of these were actually really high up in the replies list. Like, they were some of the top replies and they weren't even getting ratioed too bad. So I guess the Nixxes page is where all the salty individuals went. Hey, it makes my life easier. All right, first up, M says, absolutely awful decision. You know, I do love when these guys say that porting games to other platforms is an awful decision and then they can't explain why it's an awful decision. They just say awful decision and that's it. But just for a bit more context, if you don't know who M is, he's a massive PlayStation fanboy who thinks that all PC gamers are terrible people. And he put out a tweet that I covered in one of my previous videos on this topic, where he said that the PS5 would be his last console because without exclusives, PlayStation was dead, even though there already were barely any exclusives because everything was on PC. Yeah, I just voice cracked. I'm gonna leave that in. Go ahead, make fun of me for it. Just know it will make me sad. But do you really want to make me sad? I've got some juicy fruit here, and I won't share any with you if you're mean to me. For those of you who weren't mean to me, would you like a piece? All right, you know what? Here you go. Have some. I'm never gonna stop reusing that joke. It's funny every time. Alrighty, next up. Why would you do this, though? Barely anyone buys something on Xbox. Trash studio. Because, hear me out, it's their jobs. And you do know they're not, like, doing this without Sony's permission, right? Like, Sony has to tell them what to do. Sony had to agree to put Helldivers on Xbox, and so they did, and then they were like, here, Nixxes, can you make the port? So that's why they did it. I don't know why you're getting mad at the studio for doing their jobs. And then, of course, the classic, oh, nobody buys anything on Xbox. When are you people gonna realize that maybe the reason games keep going to Xbox is because they keep selling there? Maybe the whole idea that Xbox gamers don't buy games is a little overblown. But no, that couldn't be it, right? Xbox gamers just don't buy games at all, period. If you try to sell a game on Xbox, you will not sell any copies whatsoever. Because, you know, that's definitely why Xbox's biggest competitor, you know, PlayStation, is gonna put their game on that platform just for it to not sell any copies. Do you people not use your brains at all? Like, actually just sit down and think for a second before you tweet things. I feel like we would have so many fewer problems in the world if people would just think before they said things. Speaking of which, let's go to the next tweet now. Most worthless PS studio. To think that we could have had London and some others still, but nah, let's have Nixxes, a studio that offers nothing to the PlayStation core user. Absolutely brilliant. Keep digging your own grave listening to the wrong people. Hey, buddy, you want to know something? PlayStation doesn't listen to people. They listen to money. And guess what? They're seeing money on PC. And they probably also saw the money that they were making from Xbox porting their games to PlayStation. So now they're gonna try and follow that money too. And oh no, this studio doesn't offer anything to the core user. Do you think Sony honestly gives a damn? They want studios that offer their wallets something, not that offers the PlayStation user something. And guess what? It just so happens that Sony has found out over the last few years you can make quite a bit of money by publishing your game on multiple platforms. Honestly, the way this comment is written, it almost sounds like you're blaming Nixxes for other studios getting closed, which I don't see how that would make any sense. Like, if Nixxes existing led to the cancellation of another game or something, then sure, you would have a reason to be mad, but Nixxes was their own studio doing their own thing, and it isn't interfering with anything else at PlayStation, so I don't know what the problem is. Just say you're mad that other people get to play video games, dude. Like, honestly. Well, geez, at least be honest about it. God. Anyway, oh, gee, great. A PS studio that wastes money and time on a Xbox port. Who are the imbeciles running PlayStation these days? I mean, I don't see how it's a waste of time or money if it ends up doing well on Xbox, which I expect it will. You gotta remember, it's not like they're porting, like, a Horizon or something like that, right? I've talked about it in my previous videos, but like, this is the perfect game to put on Xbox. It's a co-op shooter. Xbox used to be known for co-op shooters, so I can definitely see this game doing very well. But yeah, it's already a waste of time and money. That's exactly why Sony bought the studio, and that's why they spend all this time and money doing it, just to waste it. Although I will agree, there are some imbeciles in charge of PlayStation. I wouldn't say that Helldivers going to Xbox is the reason they're imbeciles, though. Alright, next up, we have just about the most confusing reply I could find. As talented as you are the worst thing to ever happen to PlayStation since the Horizon Zero Dawn PC port. You made PlayStation lose a little bit of value one game at a time. Keep at it. It's not your fault, really. The bus always stops at the top. This man literally just said, hey guys, you're the worst thing to ever happen to PlayStation, but that's not your fault, so keep it up. Like, actually though, what was that? And dude, saying that they're the worst thing to happen to PlayStation since the Horizon Zero Dawn PC port? Did this dude forget that they bought Firewalk and made Concord? And somehow the Horizon PC port and the Helldivers Xbox port are the two worst things to happen to PlayStation? Are you actually kidding me right now? These people really need to just take a step back and understand the difference between something that's actually a problem and something that is literally a non-issue and they're just making it a problem in their heads. Is that so hard? Well, evidently, yes. Anyway, I think you guys are the worst acquisition done by PlayStation, period. Again, like I just said, you're gonna say that when Firewalk and Concord existed last year. In fact, we're only a month away from the 1-year anniversary of Concord's launch, and we're about a month and 2 weeks away from Concord's closure. Oh my god, but seriously, like, how can you sit here knowing that PlayStation bought Firewalk and say that Nixxes is the worst acquisition done by PlayStation? Literally, objectively, financially speaking, you are incorrect. A single port from Nixxes turned more of a profit and more success for PlayStation than anything from Firewalk ever did or could. And the fact that 43 people liked that tweet, we're actually doomed as a society. Chat, we are in fact cooked. Or maybe the fact that people like me say, chat, we are cooked, unironically, is why we're doomed as a society. One of the two. Alrighty, what do we have next? As a PlayStation owner, what do I get from you? What, do you expect compensation because this game is going to Xbox? I don't know who needs to tell you this, but I guess I will. Not every single move that PlayStation makes has to benefit you directly. But guess what? Believe it or not, you do actually benefit from this if you play Helldivers, because now there's going to be more people online. The game is going to make more money, which can be put into future updates for the game or future projects from Arrowhead. Also, it's a live service game, so having more people is inherently inherently a good thing because now the game will stay alive for longer. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you now understand why it is not a bad thing that more people get to play more video games. Alrighty, what do we have next? This studio just take value out of the PlayStation brand. How is the PlayStation brand losing value because the game is going to Xbox? Actually explain that to me, please. And the thing is, he didn't even just say the console's losing value, he said the brand as a whole is losing value. You do realize that if they make more money, they become more valuable, right? Like, I don't need to explain this to you, do I? Oh my god, maybe he did mean the console, but even still, that is such a stupid argument. I hate this argument that exclusives bring value to a system. If the only reason to buy your hardware is the games which force you to buy it just so you can play them, it's a bad piece of hardware. End of story. Locking games to hardware creates artificial value. I want real value. It's like how Xbox is raising the prices of their games to make Game Pass a better deal. Like, yeah, technically it's a better deal, but because you're artificially making it that way by screwing everybody else over. Hear me out. What if they didn't have exclusive games and they actually had to make better hardware and encourage you to buy the system based off that? And then it would also be harder to get away with price gouging. And, you know, we wouldn't end up with $700 consoles anymore. Damn, isn't that a concept? Apparently it is to these guys. All right, next up. Y'all are the worst thing that happened to PlayStation, period. Again, worse than Concord and buying Firewalk. Worse than buying Bungie. Worse than the 2011 PS3 hack. Worse than the hack that happened last year. A studio they own that ports games to PC that makes them extra money is worse than all of that. Is that what I'm hearing? And I'm not exaggerating that. He said this is the worst thing that has happened to PlayStation, period. So just think of anything terrible that's happened to PlayStation that's, you know, actually bad. Nixxes being bought by PlayStation is worse than all of that. In fact, you know what? Let's play a game. Go to the comments right now and list off a bunch of the worst things that you can think of that have happened to PlayStation. Try to make it things that I didn't say right there. So don't mention the 2 hacks and don't mention Concord or Firewalk or Bungie. I want to see what you guys can come up with that's apparently worse than this. And while you're down there, you might as well like the video and sub, but only if you're enjoying it. Alrighty, let's see what else we got here. Do you still remember who your owner is? Absolutely awful direction. Does this guy not realize that Sony is the one who would have made this decision to put the game on Xbox? Like, what, do you think a Nixxes employee snuck into one of the Arrowhead offices and stole the code for Helldivers 2 and then was like, ooh, yeah, let's secretly make an Xbox port behind their backs? No, Sony approved the port to be made and then they told Nixxes to make it. You think that Nixxes forgot who their owner is? I think you forgot who makes the decisions for them. I just realized this dude literally sounds like a Karen. Do you remember who your owner is? Let me speak to your manager. I'm gonna get you fired because I'm an asshole and don't know what I'm talking about. Like, am I wrong? That's the exact kind of energy this gives off. All right, whatever. One more tweet. Not buying PlayStation exclusives anymore. Well, okay, who's gonna tell him that there's barely been any PlayStation exclusives over the last 2 years because they've all gone to PC? In fact, Helldivers was one of the first day-and-date PC ports. So, you weren't really buying PlayStation exclusives in the first place. You were always buying multi-plats. It's just now that it's on Xbox, now you have a problem with it. I've said it before, but I truly do wish my life was so easy that other people getting to play video games on a different platform was the biggest concern I had. What a glorious life it would be. But yeah, anyway, guys, with all that being said, that is going to do it for this video. Honestly, this might be the last video I make on Helldivers 2 Xbox Salt for at least a little while, just because I don't want to milk the topic too much. And also because I don't really think we're going to get a resurgence in Salt for this until the game actually comes out on Xbox in August. And I cannot wait for that day. I think that day that it does come out, we'll be doing a community Helldivers stream to celebrate. It's going to be so good. But yeah, anyway, guys, with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the gaming channel for gaming streams, and I will catch you all next time.